I think inclusive leadership for me works the best. Honestly, I think authoritative, you need it at times when people aren't performing or they don't understand a task. You have, but inclusive is best. It's best when you have a team that works together. I think the authoritative, the main reason, especially as we get more and more of the millennials into the workplace, they're much more about working together as a committee. They like to do a lot of things together. And culturally around the world, things are based more on community. So I think the authoritative doesn't work as well. Probably the best example though really is with authoritative, when you've got that combined with micromanagement. Because micromanagement can kill the spirit of a team because nobody feels like they have any value. As you're working through problems and issues, if your boss, the director, the leader, whoever that might be in the project, keeps saying, that you have to do it my way, or you're not doing your job very well, or it makes you feel like you're stupid, basically. It's like calling a child stupid. That's just the worst thing you can do, and people tend to shut down. They don't listen, they don't pay attention. A lot of them will sit there and they're looking at you smiling and they're like, okay, when's this going to be over? I just want to go back to work. And so it doesn't work. For me, what I find interesting is everybody talks about all this diversity between cultures. But if you go to the core, everybody's family, when you meet somebody, you start to know the person you're working with. They have a child, they're trying to have a happy marriage, they want a better life for their child. It's the same basic thing around the world. But culturally, there's diversity in the sense of how they react and interact together compared to like in America. We're much more independent in this country. They rely on each other more. And I think that's how America used to be. But we've lost that. And with technology, we're losing even more, communication. And I think it's kind of sad. Because you really you have to have that one-on-one cultural, you have to be able to trust somebody. The only way you can trust somebody is you have to know who they are, who they really are. The big problem, I think, on most of the projects what I've seen is it's about mutual respect. As an American, you go into a foreign country, everybody thinks you have to do it my way. That's not true because they have a different way of doing things, and yet they've got huge buildings and everything else, so they've done a lot of work too. You can't go in thinking that they don't know how to do anything, and that we can only be done our way. So it's a mutual respect. I will have respect for them, but you also need to have respect from them for your culture. And when you go in forcing your culture on them, why would they have respect for you? So I think that's one of the main problems with projects, and not just with projects, but in general life. When people go to another country, you're in their life now. You're no longer in your life, it's their life. And you have to work with them. The big difference I see, what's usually missing, especially in a schedule, is what I call the learning curve. The learning curve is you're not allowing somebody, you know what you need to do. You've done it before. This is new to them. It's not that they're not smart, because they're probably smarter than you, but you need to let them catch up and understand it. Some of these people, they're 70-year-old engineers, but they're an intern level because they don't know what we're trying to do. And if you don't work with them and bring them along, you're going to fail. First thing I want to say to the millennials and everybody, I'm a baby boomer, but I used to be a millennial. People forget we all started out thinking we can change the world. Not sure what happens in between. As they say, life happens. And people go, what does that mean? It's just things happen in your life that you end up changing course of what you thought you would be doing a lot of times. I'm very lucky. I've still been able to continue doing what I love doing. But my life has changed course at different times. I think millennials coming into the workplace, Gen Z and all that, they need to be patient. Not every baby boomer, not every Gen X is crazy. But we used to be there too. And you just have to learn, everybody has to learn to somehow work together. And I would say to the baby boomers, you got to have an open mind and listen. And remember how, sometimes baby boomers are probably jealous because they're young and they're old now and they haven't achieved what they would have liked to achieve. But here's a young person who has their whole life in front of them to be able to achieve that. And sometimes you look at that and you're thinking, wow, I wish I could do it over. But also you're also looking at that person knowing the pain they're going to go through. Because life can be hard at times. So I think it's just a mutual understanding. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.